Hello again, it's Mihaela Telecan. It's Wednesday today, the middle of the week, and let's see, 2 o'clock, a little bit earlier than lately. Yesterday I talked about one of the things I stand for. I'm doing a series of emails and videos where I want to educate you basically on what I stand for and what I stand against, because if you know what I do in my work, you choose to follow me or unfollow me, right? Because there's no one coach fits all, no one size fits all, and so on. So in order for you to get most out of your time spent on the web, it's good to know who you are following, what do they stand for. Hey, if you are live, please put a comment if you can hear me. I want to make sure that my headsets are working. So one of the things, I'm gonna tell you all 5 things I stand for, and then I'll go back to fasting because that's the one I want to talk about a little bit more today. I touched on yesterday. So first of all, it's whole foods. Second of all, is low carbohydrate diet that allows you to enter that state of nutritional ketosis, which is the most therapeutic and fat burning one. The third one is fasting, intermittent fasting. The fourth one, I stand for traditional wisdom. I guide myself a lot based on what our ancestors did. I go to science. I study metabolism and physiology and biochemistry. I like to understand how, for instance, fasting works or how low carbohydrate works. I want to understand the metabolic pathways, if it's physiological or not, or pathological, right? But I always go back and look at what our ancestors did and what we are doing and what I can learn. Because our genetic material is the same as our ancestors. What is different is the environment and the lifestyle we have. Like right now, I'm inside with very little natural light, not in the sun, right? In front of a screen, talking to you over the web, right? Not meeting with you in the forest or on the beach or anywhere out in nature, right? So our lifestyle is different. Anyway, another time I'll go more into the ancestral wisdom. And the fourth one is knowledge. I believe knowledge is power, and more important so than just acquiring knowledge is taking actions based on the knowledge. So my role as a coach is to empower you with knowledge and then to support you to take actions, to apply that knowledge to your unique individual needs. Because again, there's no one size that fits all. So the purpose of this series of videos I'm doing right now is to help you decide if I'm your best coach ever and you want to stick around with me and invite friends that may look for the same thing, or if you want to just unfollow me and look for someone else. That's the purpose. So now that we know what the purpose is, I'm going to go back to the fasting. Yesterday I said, I use this analogy and I think it's the best ever I could have come up with. It's like when you're first exposed to music, right? You kind of, by listening to different artists, you pick one that you love the most, right? And works for you, fits your soul. And that is like finding for me and for my clients, for people that like my approach, is like finding whole foods. Going from processed packaged foods to whole foods, traditional foods, incorporating fermented foods and the meat and bone stock and organ meats and vegetables and fruits. So that is eating a whole foods diet. It's like finding your favorite artist. Now, once you find your favorite artist, you get the good grip of that whole foods diet, then you just want more. You want to listen to them all the time. So you go and you search for that radio station that only plays your favorite artist, and you play with that radio dial until you get the perfect frequency. So you listen to it all the time with good reception, preferably advertisement free, right? So that is finding what works for you from the whole foods. The approach that works for me and I want to use with my clients is the low carbohydrate diet that allows to enter in nutritional ketosis. So finding the perfect ratio station of your favorite artist is the low carbohydrate diet. And then from there you want more. So that's like this next step up is if that artist is still alive, you want to go see them live on concert. So when you go to a live concert, I don't know if you've ever been, I've been to several, it's such an energy. It's such an excitement. It's like nirvana of music, right? So when you fast, when you take your body in a state where naturally you can fast, you don't think about food, you're not hungry, you don't feel deprived, it just comes natural. It's like going to this concert of your favorite artist. So that's the analogy. So it's like stages, and everybody's different on their journey to figuring out themselves, what works for themselves. But this is what I work with. This is what I coach my clients to. That's what I do in my online programs. How to go from what you're doing right now to the ultimate state where you have this way of eating and living basically that gives you unsurpassed health, your wildest dreams, health and vitality, and energy, mental and physical energy, frees you up time and even money. I mean, if you eat less, of course you save money too. But I think the biggest gain for me personally and for my clients that do fasting and intermittent fasting is really the time. And that detachment from food, I mean, you get in a zone and you just do the work, you lose track of time, you don't even think about eating. So there you save time from cooking and shopping and cleaning, doing dishes, prepping, all that stuff. Life just becomes, it's like fine-tuned, upgraded, whatever you want to call it. So if you resonate with this, please feel free to put a comment. If not, tell me what's your take on fast. So just by telling you this, maybe you get a sense of why you would even think about fasting, right? So some reasons why somebody may want to consider fasting is this incredible energy and mental focus and clarity you get. It's of course sustainable weight loss and maintenance. A reversal of chronic conditions such as type 2 diabetes, even cardiovascular disease, hypertension, cancer. I mean, there's many applications to fasting. The most, where I use it the most with my clients is for gut healing, for diabetes management, and as a side effect, weight loss, regulation of blood lipids as well, and like improvement in lipid panel. So those are kind of the applications that I mostly use: fasting, intermittent fasting, and of course energy. So those are few reasons why you should consider or give fasting a thought first. First is the thought. You have to play with the idea, maybe I could fast. And again, the easiest way for you to get into a point where it comes natural, you just eat when you're hungry basically, is to at first follow a lower carbohydrate diet that allows you to enter in this nutritional ketosis. And how you do that, of course, let me just check my time here to see how I'm staying. How you do that depends on where you are. If you are eating processed foods, the first step I would say is kick out sugar and packaged foods. That would be the first easier step. You can't swim the English Channel if you never swam a pool, right? So you have to train yourself to get there. Can you just fast even if you are on a processed foods diet? Yes, you can. It's however hard, and you gonna hate it and you wanna curse everybody, including me, and give up, right? You'll say, oh, this is not good, it's not for me. But the truth is that our ancestors, going back to that traditional wisdom, our ancestors, they went through periods of feast and famine, famine or fasting. So fasting, really what it's like, for them was famine, meaning absence of food that wasn't planned, right? It's like a form of starvation. Fasting nowadays, it's a planned withdrawal from food. So basically our body has to burn energy, right? We need to generate energy for our body to function. So if you were to lie down all day long, you still need to burn energy to maintain your bodily functions, for your brain to function, for your heart to pump, for your lungs to allow oxygen breathing and oxygen exchange, and so on. And that's called resting energy expenditure, or basic metabolic rate. So the way our body gets energy is either through external source, through food, or through the energy that has been saved when outside energy was available, and that is two forms. One is fat and the other one is glycogen. It's the way we save carbohydrates or glucose in our body. These glycogen stores, they are found in liver and they are found in muscles. But the tank, let's call it a tank, or the reservoir for glycogen is very limited compared to the reservoir of fat. So the amount of energy we save as fat is basically unlimited. You can store unlimited amount of energy as fat, and we see that with very obese people where their body fat percentage goes even to 50% or more, because there's no end to how much fat you basically can store, or energy as fat. Where when it comes to carbohydrates, a very trained athlete that has bigger muscle mass and does carb loading maybe saves up to 3,000 calories worth of glycogen, versus fat, even a lean athlete has over 10,000 calories stored as fat, way over. So just to put things into perspective, so when we get food from the outside, of course, that translates into energy in our body, and our body will use external source of energy, and whatever comes in excess of what the body uses, it will be stored in these two forms: glycogen or sugar, the animal form of sugar, and fat. Now, what did I want to say about this? Because this is, where do I want to take you with this? I don't want to get you lost. So, most of the time, when people eat today, and this is what we've seen for the last 50 years, mostly since the industrialized era, where we have food industry and we have lots of energy saving devices and food is readily available, and primarily since we've been told to eat 3 meals regularly, to eat 3 meals a day, 2 snacks, bedtime snack. I mean, how ridiculous is that? Eat more so you can, what, lose more or save more? Of course, it's like if you put more money in your bank account, you're only gonna have more money if you put more than what you take out. Same with you, if you keep giving your body more energy than you burn, you're gonna keep saving, and the only way you can save once the glycogen reserves are filled up, it's fat. So that's one other thing I definitely am against and stand against, is eat 3 meals and 2 snacks. It's like every 2 to 3 hours, so you don't starve yourself. Okay, I'll talk about that another time. But just to go back to the reserves things. So when you fast, basically, you reverse the process of feeding. So it's no external source of energy coming in. So your body is meant physiologically and biologically, this is how we survived as species. When we don't have energy coming from the outside, to just use our own energy. First thing first, the body will use the glycogen the liver is going to break down that glycogen that has been stored and put it out into the bloodstream as glucose, and the muscle will break down the glycogen and is used only by the muscle. So if you are exercising, walking, moving around, you're going to use the glycogen stored in the muscle. If you're just sitting down for your brain and for your resting energy expenditure, it will be glucose coming from the liver basically. And since that's limited, the minute you deplete this small reservoir of stored glucose, the body has no alternative but to knock at the fat reservoir and say, I need energy. So that's how fasting is completely possible, because you have stored energy. It's like your body is designed like that. So when however, what happens when somebody eats 3 meals a day and snacks, and those are usually, each one of them comes with a good, maybe 40-50% in the form of carbohydrates, the body never really has a chance to burn ever use this fat stored. So it's almost like forgets how to burn fat. So in order for you to burn fat, you really need to put yourself into some time of fasting where you don't get food from the outside, there's not much reserved glycogen in your system, so the body has to wake up and say, hey, fat, it's time for you to break down and to give us some energy. And your muscles can use fatty acids as energy, and the rest of the organs, including your brain, which is the crucial point here, will use what comes out of the fat breakdown by the mitochondria in the liver, ketone bodies. And that's when you hear the term nutritional ketosis, that's what we measure. We measure the ketone bodies in the blood to see if we are in this ideal zone where we know when the ketone bodies in the blood are elevated to this nutritional ketosis range, then you are effectively burning fat, not carbohydrates, for energy. So if you want to be a fat burner, if you want to change your body composition, this is one great way to accomplish that, like without losing muscle mass. Now what happens with people that eat often and lots of carbs, your brain loves sugar. In fact, it needs about 130 grams of carbohydrates every day to run itself, about 600 worth of calories that are usually supplied in the form of glucose to the brain. But again, I'm going to take you back to our ancestors. I have 5 more minutes to finish this. Hey Chris, thanks for coming live. So our ancestors, when, let's say, they had no access to food, they at all, not even animal protein, so they couldn't hunt anything, they didn't have any roots to pull, no berries to pick, none. So they really were in like a famine time. If our body was not able to shift, and their brain wasn't able to shift from using carbohydrate as fuel to using ketone bodies as fuel, they would have died. We were not here as species today, right? They would have seizures and die in the absence of glucose. So they had this metabolic flexibility where if carbohydrates were available, the brain used carbohydrates. If carbohydrates were not available, the blood sugar started to drop. The levels of sugar in the blood started to drop. Immediately, the fat started to be broken down into those ketone bodies, which then cross blood-brain barrier, get to the brain, fuel the brain is happy, the person is sharp, so they can go now and hunt, so they don't die as species, right? This is how our ancestors survived. Well, same thing happened with us today. When you hit that low at 3 p.m. in the afternoon, or maybe 11 o'clock in the morning, it's your brain detecting a drop in the blood sugar level, and your body not having metabolic flexibility to go and break down fat to supply your brain with ketone bodies, and that's when you crash. The athlete hits the wall, the person sitting at the desk crashes and needs a soda or a coffee or a candy to pick them up. That's bonking at your desk or bonking on your bike or running. So the beauty of fasting or following this low carbohydrate diet, which forces your body into this state of nutritional ketosis, which forces your body to burn the stored fat energy, is you have virtually endless energy, because your brain now can use, like if it's apple and pears are unavailable, he likes both. If apples are not there, he's happy, the brain is happy with pears, right? So that if glucose is not there, brain is happy with ketones. If glucose is there, brain is happy with glucose. The key is to have both at the same time in your bloodstream. That's when you burn fat. That's when you never get mentally tired. That's when you don't have food cravings. You literally are not hungry. These ketone bodies actually suppress appetite to some degree. And what they do, they speed up metabolic rate. So unlike someone going on a caloric restriction diet to lose weight, like the ACG diet, they go on 500 calories, or the biggest loser diet. So they're always in caloric deficit, and usually the caloric intake goes way below that resting energy expenditure. What happens, they lose weight at first, but they also dramatically drop this resting energy expenditure rate. So it becomes very difficult for the person when they start eating more food, right? Even to just meet their caloric needs, to maintain that weight loss, because their basal, their resting energy expenditure dropped significantly. What fasting does, it speeds up metabolic rate. So instead of burning less to preserve yourself, you actually burn more because you have the fat. It's like the body doesn't care if the food comes, the energy comes from external source or it comes from internal source, from burning fat. For our body, it's irrelevant. Well, it's relevant to us because we like to eat, we have, we enjoy food, we eat socially, we eat emotionally, we eat whatever, for many reasons. But what really matters is to allow your body to use energy. Now, you can use external energy wisely, and that is the whole foods, individualized low carbohydrate diet that allows you to enter in that state of nutritional ketosis, or to eat whatever you care, okay, if that's what you want, but then fast. Do intermittent fasting. You can do 24-hour fasts. You can do 16 or 18-hour fasts, so where you eat lunch your first meal and then you eat dinner like 6-7 p.m. and then nothing again until noon the next day. So it's various ways you can do intermittent fasting. So I think that's what I wanted to cover pretty much. I wanted you to get the sense that fasting, it's a normal physiological state. It's actually good for you. You give a rest to your gut. Again, you train your body to develop this metabolic flexibility. You have detachment from food, so spiritually, emotionally, and spiritually is beneficial, and gazillion health benefits. Lots and lots of research going on ketone beta-hydroxybutyrate as the ketone body that's primarily found in blood and that goes to the brain. Anti-cancer, anti-epileptic. Epigenetic has the ability to dictate how the genes manifest. So great information. I'm really excited about it. So again, you can use fast to heal, or you can use fast as the CEO's ultimate diet. So you gain more time and more hours in a day, and save money. And stay tuned. I will come back with more informations, and I'm about to launch an online program where I would coach you how to get your body, how to start a whole foods, low carbohydrate, and incorporate fasting, intermittent fasting in your life, if that's something that sounds good to you, so you can upgrade yourself. It's awesome. I just want to say one more thing. Yesterday I was in I had an awesome day. I had like a flow. I was working, didn't even think about food. So long story short, I end up fasting. I fast every day. My first meal is somewhere between 12 and 3, depending on the schedule. If I meet for lunch, if I don't. For instance, today it's 2:32. I'm going to pick up my son. I'll probably eat around 4 o'clock. So yesterday, being busy and being in that flow state of mind where I was creative and I did work, I didn't eat. I drank maybe three quarters or more of water, and I had 2 coffees, because again, I'll talk next about the macronutrients, the fats, the protein, the carbs, their impact on your ability to maintain this nutritional ketosis state. Basically, fat has the least impact on your insulin production, hence it keeps you in the fat burning zone. So I had about 500 calories worth of fat, coconut, MCT, and buttercream, with 2 coffees until almost 8 o'clock on us, like 7:40. And then I had dinner. I had chicken, wings with salad. What else? There's a few vegetables, maybe 2 tablespoons of rice. It was left over from my rice, from brown rice from my son, and maybe 3 or 4 pieces of pineapple. I didn't log yet to see altogether how many grams of carbs I had, but the whole day my blood sugar was nice and stable. The lowest blood sugar I had at night was 61, with ketone bodies about 2.9. Of course, when you have this level of ketone bodies and your blood sugar is here, you don't feel like you have a low blood sugar. It was perfectly fine. And then at night, before I went to bed, which was late, like midnight, that's another thing. You sleep less when you're in this fat burning zone mode. My ketones with the meal dropped to 0.8, but when I woke up in the morning, I think today were 1 or 1.3. So the more time you spend in this fat burning zone, nutritional ketosis, with the help of fast or with the help of a low carbohydrate diet, the better you are. Thank you so much for watching today's live video. Please feel free to share this if you find it useful with your friends and family. Comment below, let me know what else would you like to learn on this topic. Fasting, low carb, whole foods, healing, inflammation, weight loss, diabetes, all that. And the other one is, if you're not a member of my private Facebook group, please come and join, because that's where I'm going to start soon doing a free challenge to introduce everybody to the upcoming Fast to Heal program. Thank you so much. Have an awesome day. And I probably will see you tomorrow, if not next video. Bye.